Radio Free Skaro!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free Skaro, episode number 945. I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
Chris in Edmonton.
And Chip in Durham, North Carolina.
You had to specify that it was
could have been
North
County
Carolina.
Durham. You never know.
Or it could have been Toronto, given your background.
That's true. If you're watching on video, Chip is doing a bit.
I am doing a bit.
Doing a bit.
I have broken into the blue room of famous Toronto Maple Leafs fan Steve Dangle.
Yep, that is
a sentence that makes no sense.
No,
famous
I know.
Toronto Maple
sense
Leafs fan
for
Steve
a lot of
Dangle.
people.
That sounds made up, I got to tell you.
Yeah, Steve Dangle is a website I go to whenever the Leafs lose, big or in embarrassing fashion, or both, because the Schadenfreude is real. And so
I hear that name, and I think
Chip.
Chuck Tingle, the famous, ridiculous romantasy writer, who is very funny and wears a bag over his head. Or their head. I don't know if it's a he or a she.
Like many Leafs fans did in the early 1980s. No word of a lie.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
A Zamboni driver who works for them.
There we go. That's the one. For those who get it, get it. It was one of the great moments, Chip. You remember that? This is when Chip firmly became a hockey fan, was that moment, because it happened against the Carolina Hurricanes. It was like in early March 2nd, like 2020, like early days.
Right before,
like hopefully this thing that's happening in Italy doesn't come over here. And the Carolina Hurricanes had both their goalies injured during the course of a game in Toronto on a Saturday night, hockey night in Canada, and they had to go with the emergency backup, who happened to be a 42-year-old Zamboni driver who worked for the Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes won the game. And
first of all, a Zamboni driver taking over, that's awesome.
That is amazing. It's one of the most amazing stories in sports history.
It's like the Hurricanes put
the Hurricanes basically put up a defensive shell. He faced 9 shots, let in the first 2, and it was looking really bad for a second there, but they won it.
Yeah. So I gotta say, let me help draw a line between hockey and Doctor Who for the benefit of your listeners.
Thank you.
I am a hockey fan today, a serious hockey fan today, thanks to Gallifrey One and thanks to Stephen and wife Erica, because I was in y'all's hotel room at a galley in 19, maybe 20,
right,
and y'all were watching various hockey games. This was a time when the Carolina Hurricanes were trying to, my hometown team right down the road that I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to. They were trying to get fans by doing fun things like funny celebrations on the ice afterward. And Stephen and Erica were watching to see what the celebration was going to be that time. And I was like, what? They're doing this? So, and immediately got hooked and immediately started going to games. And so Stephen and Erica and Doctor Who are indirectly responsible for a lot of expenditures on my part.
Despite Stephen being predisposed to hating the Hurricanes because they beat the Oilers in 2006 in the Cup final.
Oh, but it's fine. It's fine, because that all led down the road to us getting Connor McDavid like 10 years later. It's all the cosmic ballet went on.
Thanks, Leonard.
I can assure you, even though I'm surrounded on the screen by hockey fans, I will never do it, because I wasn't interested during the glory days of the Oilers in the 80s when I saw them play. And if that didn't get me interested, nothing is.
Nope. I am shocked, Warren, that the beautiful game does not speak to you.
Doesn't speak to me one bit. Not one jot.
Except
not one tittle,
Warren. I will speak in your defense, except when the Calgary Flames are losing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But that's, I won't participate in the city rivalry for no good reason.
That's just inbuilt. It's like a race memory. It's
exactly,
just like I got to hate Calgary, right? I mean,
I've told that to Calgarians. I'm like, well, my best friend is from Calgary. And we were at loggerheads about this all the time for no good reason. Neither of us care.
Yep. As Chip mentioned, Gallifrey One is the sort of the birth of his hockey fandom. We all met at Gallifrey One back in 2010, right? Chip, that was your first?
2010 was my first. Prompted by how much you all talked up your experiences at the 2009 Gallifrey One on the podcast.
Which was our first, I believe.
It was.
That's our first. Yeah. This is going to be the 15th year. I'm not going to say 15th convention because there wasn't one in 2021, obviously.
And Chris and I didn't go to the 2022.
Yeah. So the 15th anniversary of Radio Free Skaro's first ever appearance at Gallifrey One, which is mind-boggling because I can still remember elements of that one crystal clear, and then the rest sort of begin to
exactly.
You know, kind of
it's
together.
It's the formation. It's the formation of the memories from 2009 that stand out, and then it gets a little hazy.
What year was your first live show there?
2011.
2011, the one that you helped produce on the side stage, and then
the one where there was no tech equipment in the room whatsoever to begin.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out I was most nervous for that one. The big stage, way less nervous than I was with that small room.
Yeah, the big stage. It's been 2012 since we've opened the convention every year since, which is stunning and amazing. Thank you, Sean, for that.
Yes,
That's
thank you.
Oh, yes.
Literally like a third of the convention's history we've been kicking off on the main stage for it, basically, which is stunning. And all with your help, of course, Chip, who keeps us honest on the board and plays the videos when they're supposed to be played, and I don't have to worry about them. So thanks, Chip. And
once in a while, I even remember to press record on the recorder.
I know. Oh, I press record a half an hour before the show even begins. I don't care. I just want it. Knowing that it's rolling eases my mind. Anyway,
one of my favorite live shows is still from last year, where Colin Baker was ribbing Warren mercilessly.
That's true.
I don't even remember that.
Really
I'm sure he was, but I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Well, you'll never be president of the United States.
Yeah, for good reason. A couple reasons I shouldn't be president of the United States.
Never will. This is, in case you didn't guess, the Gallifrey One preview show where we go through the whole show, whole lineup. We preview the convention, the panels we want to see. I stress we want to see because oftentimes what we want to see and what we end up actually seeing are two entirely different things. Run down the hotel for those of you who are there for the first time, who haven't been a long time, the food options, the weather, everything like that, as well as some other news that happened. So Chip, I can't remember if you've ever been on for one of these preview shows before.
I think I have.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
It rings a bell. First time on video, though, for what it's worth.
Well, for any of us.
For any of us at all. So if you're watching on video,
I'm stunned I haven't broken the camera yet.
I know. For those of you watching on YouTube, we're gonna amaze you with our graphics today by literally just sharing the screen of the schedule and scrolling up and down along with you. But watch along with us if you want.
PowerPoint ever.
Yeah. But yes, it is Gallifrey One, Miracle on 34th Street, February 16th to 18th, the 34th annual Gallifrey One, which is going to be fun and amazing. What else do we say about this before we kick into the schedule? Anything you want to add, like a beginner's guide or something like that? Does anyone want to jump in there? Yeah,
that's a lot.
There's a lot to take in. Bring yourself.
Yeah, bring comfortable shoes, water, and get some
comfortable
sleep.
Shoes. Yes. Well, the water. Thankfully, is usually all the.
That's true.
The water dispensers around the con floor and the lobby and all that, so you can get away with that. But comfortable shoes, yes.
Comfortable shoes.
I will note that I used to, and if you're young enough, go for it. But we used to stay up till God only knows what o'clock because these are people we see once a year in person. Yeah. And as we've all gotten older, we're all like, it's midnight, I'm going to bed. Most of us are just like, okay. And there's no shame because we're all more or less in that same neighborhood.
Yeah.
We are, but there's a great younger generation that is just behind us that are...
stay up late in our stead.
Absolutely.
If you would.
Yeah. And, that's the two things that I want to observe about Galley.
Sure.
The first is that... there has been some good growth and change in who goes to Galley. Since we started going, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but the fan base there appears younger, more into cosplay, more into being themselves. It's been there's real vitality that's been going on there from year to year. It's not just the same fans sticking around, getting older, getting more crotchety.
I would be interested in seeing what happens next year, because the Disney Plus thing there'll probably be people who just started watching Disney Plus will show up at this thing.
The Disney Plus,
but next year will be the real test of that.
Yeah. The Disney Plus thing and the Ncuti Gatwa thing.
That too.
When he really, when he really takes charge of the, the cultural awareness. Disney promises that, or RTD has promised that Disney is going to be really turning up the marketing when Series 1 starts. We saw a bit of that last year with Jodie Whittaker present. I think the younger, outside the white male norm doctors, I think it makes a difference. And but the fandom at Galley is just absolutely vital. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, Galley is sort of a holdover kind of a convention. It is fan run by people who have a lot of experience with your big, long time, legacy science fiction fan conventions. I think there's a lot of WorldCon DNA in there and stuff like that.
Except for let's have different people run it every time and screw it up in a different way. The exact opposite happens with Gallifrey One.
Yeah.
So it's run by people who are accountable from year to year, who know what they're doing. Sean Lyon works himself to death every year to ensure that it's a strong convention, but it is a fan convention. They've got help from showmasters and things like that to help provide expensive guests, but it is a fan-centered, fan-oriented celebration of Doctor Who. And sometimes I understand why fans in the UK are jealous. Why don't we have this?
Well, then do it.
And I think part of it is because the bigger corporate cons are that strong in the UK. You've had other stuff like, what was the one in Hooverville and things like that? There is some of that.
There's Nine Worlds is another one, I think.
Yeah, there is some of that. But here in Los Angeles, where you've got an entertainment industry where actors want to come to make contacts with things like that.
And writers and stuff too. Yeah.
And where you've got a legacy group of convention runners who have been doing this thing for 34 years. That is why Gallifrey One is the best Doctor Who convention on the planet.
Yeah.
And let's not undercut Brits going somewhere warm for a week. They all are very happy to do that.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm looking forward. It's going to be snowing. It's been snowing all it's winter here in Canada. So the fact that, I'm going to pack shorts because it's going to be like 19 degrees Celsius, which sounds like terrible for Americans. But I'm like, sign me up. I bet you a lot of Brits like that too. You're right though, Chip. It's just a general. It's such a unique con in that it is it gets those bigger guests, and what I like about Gallifrey One is it always Sagan Akinola, for instance, is headlining our live show, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But I don't think any other convention would sort of go, let's get the guy who does the music for it and have that, and that a sector of the people will just go, yes, that's who I want to see.
Fans will just react, right?
And this year that's also in tandem with Dominic Glynn, who you got the old fan base covered with Dominic, and then you've got the new fan base covered with Sagan.
Yeah, it's the creative aspect of things, which I always like about that.
Just to contrast, Fan Expo is happening at the same time here in Vancouver. Obviously, I'm not going because I won't be there.
Right.
But leaving aside the fact that they will not stop inviting Gina Carano, which is its own bag of snakes, that's terrible. It's always actors, and I'm like, okay, that's great if you like actors, and many people do. But I'm like, that's all you got. Okay, all right, and it is one of these for-profit conventions. So,
you get the odd writer, or you get the writer - actor / actor, whatever,
or a showrunner or something, but rarely.
Even though, as we've talked about ad nauseum in the past on here, like our affinity is with those writers and the directors and the composers and all that, and that's what the Miniscope is all about. And the fact Galley gets a lot of those types of people, that's a massive draw for us.
And to be fair, big name actors. Derek Jacobi is going to be at this thing.
Sir Derek Jacobi.
Derek the Goat Jacobi is going to be there.
Billy Piper is going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite stunning that they managed to do this each and every single year. We'll get into, of course, all the guests and the panels and stuff like that. The weather, as I check this live right now, we're recording this on Saturday, February 10th, just so you know.
Up to the minute.
Up to the minute as
For
times.
the day before.
I'm seeing a lot of showers. I regret to say.
No.
58% chance of showers on Saturdays. Friday a little less. That's 24%. So half and half. You say 58%. I say 42% that there's no chance of showers. But mid for those of us outside of the U.S., 16 degrees each and all those days. So not the sunniest and brightest of trips to L.A. I think awaits us, but not the worst. I like that one year where it was literally like 11 degrees and just a virtual downpour the entire weekend. So
yeah, or I remember, I don't think it was last time, so maybe 2020, 2019. There's one night where it was just so foggy. It was really cool, but so much fog. And given the hotel's right by the airport, I'm sure fog's not appreciated in that area.
No.
Well, as long as I'm not flying out, I don't care.
That's true. Other things, we're not sponsored by them, and I always recommend yummy.com.
Absolutely.
You can place grocery orders, and they will deliver to your room.
Yes. Speaking of being old, I'll be definitely relying on yummy.com this year.
Just as a side thing, those who maybe subscribe to Instacart, that is another option as well.
Instacart, there's another one. That's right.
We use Instacart quite a lot here, and even Canadian memberships are valid in the U.S. for orders, apparently.
I'm going to sign up for that. Who knows?
I did not know that.
So says the Instacart website anyway.
Right. Very handy way to maintain healthy eating habits.
Yes.
And
have those carrots and granola bars.
This is not a slag on the hotel. Yeah. Every hotel is like this. Like, name a hotel, and I was in Vegas. It is impossible to eat healthily in that town.
It's tough, and there's only so many times I can have a veggie burger as my main course.
I'm going to test that theory because I'm going to get a lot of veggie burgers with salad.
It'll happen at least twice. I'll guarantee you that.
That's one aspect I'm very glad that we've learned from is in 2009, our first time there. I do believe every meal we had was at the sports bar.
Yeah, champion was known then. Yeah,
and or we have the breakfast buffet, I suppose. But
it reminds me of, as a slight sideline, I was at a Ukrainian Christmas event, and I told my friend who is Ukrainian, there's nothing green here. He's like, oh yeah, they take that out back and shoot it. He's Ukrainian. I'd like to point this out. and Gally reminds me of that. The food will be brown. Again, like every other hotel, you will not see anything green unless you really work at it. So go get your yummy.com or whatever your poison maybe.
Instacart. Yeah,
to be fair, there actually are a lot of green things and healthy things at the on the menu at the hangar. What is it? Hangar
really?
3, whatever it is.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
I mean, relative to what there used to be.
Don't forget, with the blood pressure and diabetes, I have a really narrow road to go through here.
Yeah, we'll just get you set up with like a one of those hamster water dripper things.
Oh, great, wonderful.
Yeah, there are also food trucks, though, which have been very handy. I want to pop that up there. Food trucks, lots of different ones each and every day. There's 3 usually, I think, each day. Which are up on the screen right now on our YouTube page. Like baby badass burgers, veggie hamburgers. There we go. I can't get away from them. There's a Indonesian, South Asian cuisine, Korean barbecue. Japanese fusion, Caribbean cuisine, more Korean stuff like so. So there's a host of pretty handy stuff. It's right out there in the sort of the patio on the ground floor, which is where all those are.
Even though I won't eat them, Baby's Badass Burgers is a great name.
It is a great name. So those are really handy. I often found like at around 4:00 after a panel or something or before another thing, I'm really hungry and I'm not going to be able to find any time to eat. And then there's a food truck right there, and they have been a godsend each and every year that they've been up there. So there you go. So food trucks are also an option, which is also important. So all right. So yeah, Gallifrey One. Where do you want to start? You want to start on the Thursday? Do you want to do this? You want to rip into this?
Let's do our usual.
Let's do our usual. That is fab. Here we go. This is the schedule right now. We're going to just basically look through the schedule, mention stuff that we like, forget stuff that we also like. So bear with us. I've never yet gone on the In-N-Out Burger run. There is a vegetarian dinner group run as well this year for I think maybe the first time, but it's like a mile walk away, and that seems like a lot to be right now.
I still recall that one time we dragged you to In-N-Out and you had the grilled cheese and were quite underwhelmed.
I don't remember that. I don't remember ever going to In-N-Out in LA. I don't think I was there. I went to In-N-Out once
You were there.
when we went to WesterCon. WesterCon. It was
in Sacramento,
WesterCon.
right? Yes.
That
In
it could
Sacramento.
be. Okay. That could be then. Yeah.
And they didn't have anything for me.
No, because everything is. Well, you could have fries, I suppose, but
yeah.
I mean, you got to face. You know, I doubt you face that all the time. And vegan eaters are going to have even more obstacles.
That's true. But we survive. I'm not sure I've ever been to the official launch party either, which is happening at 8 o'clock. Because we're usually just sort of hanging out in the lobby, I think, at that point. Chip, you ever been to the launch party at all, or are you a lobby goer like the rest of us?
Mostly a lobby goer, because I follow my people. My people tend to hang out with each other instead of going to the meeting, the formalized stuff. So yeah, I've dropped in and sort of taken it in, but I tend to come back up and find my people.
Yeah. Sometime on convention registration, I think, starts at 4 o'clock. It goes from 4 to 9. Basically, you can claim your ticket and stuff like that.
If you have a lanyard,
yeah, if you have a lanyard, by the way, from last year, bring it. It helps them out. And so I just yesterday opened up our suitcases, which I don't think had been used since then, basically. And lo and behold, there were both of our Gallifrey One badges. So I detached the old cards and threw the lanyards in there.
Mayhaps we should say why?
Go for it.
Sure. So for the lanyards, they're going to be, for those who want, there's going to be 2 different options, red or blue for colors. Red is preferring distance. Blue is okay with closeness. But if you have the lanyards, apparently will be the same as last year's. So if you have yours from last year and you want to reuse it rather than having to get a whole new one, or be as environmentally conscious as a lanyard allows you to be, bring it along.
I mean, COVID sucks. There's no getting around that. But I do like that some things that people before would have balked at are now just accepted. And this is one of them. It's like, let's say 2019, somebody came up with that ribbon. There would be some weird, stupid pushback about it. Now nobody cares. They're just like, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. I mean, maybe not in the Gallifrey One community, but I just this stuff has just become more, okay, fine, than it used to be, which is good.
Yeah. Speaking of COVID sucks, COVID does suck and still is around. So, but the hotel and the convention have less control over what they can do at the hotel than they have in previous years, because local and state ordinances have sort of diminished that. So masking is encouraged, but it is not required anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Doctor Who fans are pretty, community minded. I think a lot of them will, on the panel rooms certainly will probably still be wearing masks, because let's face it, it's a hotel basement. Despite you can spruce up the carpet all you want, but it's still a hotel.
How dare
basement.
you, by the way?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to routinely get con crud. And,
I did too. Yeah.
And the last couple of galleys, I didn't, because I was wearing masks most of the time. I relaxed my masking at meal times, but by and large, I wore my mask in common areas otherwise, and it was fine, and B, not only did I not get COVID, but I didn't get my customary con crud.
It's kind of nice. Yeah. Whenever I often sort of posted near a door, be it one of the 2 doors in the lobby, just to get extra ventilation for whenever I, here is where I make my stand, basically, for LobbyCon. And this is where I'm going to sit. If anyone wants to come talk to me, I'll be right here. And
I do recall you doing that. Now it makes sense.
Now it makes sense, Warren. All part of my grand plan. So yeah. So that is that. I'm certainly probably going to be wearing them in the convention rooms, because I'm I'm still a little bit skittish when it comes to close talking scenarios like that. So
I still mask on like public transit and at work and things like that, grocery store, whatever, when I'm out in public. So I'll be wearing mine. I know.
Well, I've heard like a couple of experts. I haven't like medical experts saying that planes are actually one of the safest places
for the filtration.
For filtration, like I'm thinking, I'm bringing the one that like attaches like a face hugger, and like I've got my like air filter in front of me for 3 hours.
You're gonna get a Vision Pro for your mouth.
Yeah, this is like a death tube. I just like, why are we in this thing? But apparently the filtration is great. I wouldn't believe it, but so. Yeah, there'll be varying levels of preparedness and paranoia, I think, throughout the course of the weekend for me. So, but just be aware of what your options are, everyone, when it comes to that. Back to the schedule. Thursday night karaoke. Chip, I remember you were on karaoke one, and I filmed you singing probably a Carbon Leaf song or something like that. That's my main memory of karaoke. I don't remember much of anything else that happened. Are you going to be bold enough to do karaoke again, do you think, or no?
Maybe. Again, where are my people, and how long do I have to wait? Because
Saturday is the big karaoke.
The line for karaoke is long.
Yeah.
The point of karaoke is not to be super talented. So it's to have fun. But it's always better to be in a group, and if you want to do it, you have to get there early and get your name in the queue, because you'll be there for a while. But there's multiple nights of it to try and space it out.
It happens in the main ballroom. And so, it's not just all karaoke. It's a big room. There's tables and stuff like that. I just want to point out, it's just part of the Thursday event. People would just sort of wander around. It's where Warren and I were introduced to Chris Chibnall last year.
Yes, absolutely.
We at the very back, him and Jamie Magna Stone. And within seconds, we had arranged an interview that happened, of course, on this podcast over the course of that weekend. It all happened just at karaoke, just people wandering around. So it's, that's the great thing about Galley. You're not really pigeonholed into like staying into one sort of social situation. You can sort of wander around from the official party to the karaoke. It's all kind of just the same party, but happening in different locations.
Yeah, if you're an extrovert, you're going to be golden at this convention. If you're an introvert, find some people to bubble with.
Yeah. Yep. And people will understand if you're an introvert.
I mean, Chip, you were the one that, to my knowledge anyway, coined the phrase, you will find your tribe at Gallifrey One.
It's absolutely true.
Yep.
I mean, here I am on this podcast right now.
Right?
You're stuck with us, dorks.
To kind of riff off the Chris Chibnall mention there, Stephen. It doesn't happen with absolutely everybody. So, I mean, it won't happen with, say, Billy Piper, for example. But quite often the guests, big name guests, are just going to be...
They're just hanging,
Hanging out, walking around. I mean, was it 2019 and Stephen Moffat was holding court at the bar, for example, and just chatting with anyone and everyone who'd come up. And there are, there are a lot of I don't even want to say social opportunities, but just chances just to say, "Hey, how's it going?" To whomever.
To people that you haven't seen in a year or have only been talking to online.
I'm talking
like
even,
that,
even more the guests, because if you go to like a fan expo or something, maybe there isn't a massive line, and maybe you can go up and say hello or something. But if you do that, the expectation is you're going to drop $50 on an autograph or $100 on an autograph, whatever.
And I think this is unique to Doctor Who. I could be wrong about this. There are probably other fandoms I'm not aware of where this is the same thing. But
maybe
with Doctor Who, it's a lot more. The line is a lot grayer.
I think it's unique to this style of convention.
Yes. That being said, don't go into this convention with the expectation that you will become best friends and drinking buddies with Derek Jacobi. It's going to be
But imagine the coup if you did.
The creatives, the actors, writers, all of those people. They will let you know by being present, like on the LobbyCon floor or something like that, if they feel comfortable and safe being approached that way. Yeah. Don't go to Gallifrey One expecting to have one-on-one access to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
But if you're lucky, you may get kissed on the cheek by a Silurian.
Or Louise Jameson, which happened to me.
I interviewed I'm blanking on her name, Madame Vastra.
McIntosh.
I interviewed Neve McIntosh, and I got a kiss on the cheek afterward. It was very nice.
And he's never washed that cheeks.
It's filthy. It's diseased.
She's she's a very sociable person.
Yeah.
Is
Lots of
Neve.
people are.
Well, she's Scottish. And they're well known for being gregarious and not at all cranky.
Very true. So anyway, that's Thursday. Well done. We're half an hour into this thing. We've got through Thursday. The convention hasn't even started yet. But even though this is my main problem with the convention. There's too many good things on. Because at 11 a.m. there's a Shooty to the Moon panel with Paul Cornell and a whole bunch of other people, and there's a Simon Guerrier thing. Also at the same time about television before the TARDIS, but of course the main thing
let's
is
get the schedule back up there. There we go.
it's us. We're on the schedule. We're on that. It's us. That's why we're kicking off Gallifrey One 11 a.m. More than 60 years into the TARDIS. Sega Nakanola, Kevin John Davies of not Shada Fate. Well, a little bit. More than 30 years in the TARDIS, of course, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the He helped on the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Awesome.
The book animation was part him.
Yep.
Also a lifelong friend of Douglas Adams as well. So that's going to be fun.
I told a friend of mine about we're interviewing him, and they're like, "Wow, holy crap, that's awesome!"
Oh, good. I'm excited about everyone on this guy. And then it's funny that not long ago when I was watching the Graham Norton show, I thought it would be kind of fun to have like all the guests on stage at once and just have a big giant panel, and then like literally 2 days later, hey, Sean says, do you want a whole bunch of actors on in one go? And we do. Annette Badland, Kevin McNally, Sean Dingwall, Jay Griffiths formed basically the last half of the show. In between all that, though, Chip makes his return to the stage on Ready for Skaro with the 2 MTL. Now that you're back being 2-minute Time Lord, Chip. We felt it was only right to grant you the stage. So welcome back.
I'm super grateful. Now that I'm not on Twitter anymore, I've got to let people know that I'm back somehow.
Right?
I'm super grateful you're not on Twitter anymore.
Masses. Yeah, tell the Mastodon masses that you're back on stage.
Hey, Blue Sky. There's Blue Sky too.
There's Blue Sky too, but it's not as catchy as Mastodon masses.
But it's funny. It's funny, unlike Mastodons. Yeah. So there's that.
Do you want to drop any hints about what the presentation is about, or you want to let that be a surprise for the actual show?
It'll be a little bit about the evolution of the show and the evolution of the Doctor, and I'll try to make it as tight as possible.
2 minutes is only a suggestion between top and tails, Chip. Whenever I see the duration of the podcast, I go, that's fine. It's all fine.
It's metaphorical. It's not literal.
Has anybody ever come out and said more like 10-minute Time Lord? Am I right?
It has happened.
It has exactly.
Probably if it was Tom Baker for some reason. Yeah.
He's like,
right.
Really?
Yeah, I know. He's just
that's a reaction picture.
Reaction picture. Anyway, so that's going to be fun. It's 90 minutes. Kicks off the convention. Doors open at 10:30 for seating to get in there. It's going to be a grand time. I love doing it. I'm always terrified about doing it. Then we get in there and it's fine and we have fun, and hopefully you will have fun too.
I don't understand this, but I'm a nervous Nelly about practically everything. But for some reason, I'm not about this live show. I couldn't tell you why.
This particular live show or the live show in general?
The live show in general, I'm not as scared. Well, I don't have as much anywhere near as many responsibilities as you do, so there's that too. But also, I just like other things weird me out more. I don't know why. It's a weird psychological quirk. It's not anything I'm proud of. It's just a thing that happens.
I always appreciate the support of the stage crew and their comforting of us before we go.
That's true. They do comfort us.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the schedule. Where are we at here? Where there we are. That's all you need to see. You only need to see the live show at 12:30. You're done.
I really would like to see television before TARDIS. I mean,
I know,
can't, but it's too bad it's opposite us, because that would be cool.
I know, Simon. We talked to Simon last year because his David Whitaker book was months away from being released.
I hope it's on sale.
It is now out now. I imagine he might have copies there. It's a big book though. I hope he doesn't have to like bring a whole checked bag full of books or something to sell or something, but I'm really looking forward to digging into that. And he's a great television historian. So, but you're not going to see that panel because you're all going to be at the RFS Live. So talk to him later. Simon Gary is one of the people who you will see.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
In the lobby and stuff to be able to talk to. There's also photo sessions happening throughout the day, of course, in the photo studio, which I have yet to ever. Warren, were you considering getting one for Derek Jacobi?
I was thinking about it.
Talk about that. I know you've got one like for Nichelle Nichols.
It's right over there. Yeah.
When she was on. Yeah, I remember that. But anyway, as I slowly scroll through the schedule here, as you can all see it there, is there anything that jumps out at you that you want to talk about? You want to mention?
There's one at 1 p.m.
What's it? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to mention something because I just noticed this. Because Rachel Talalay, of course, was the guest at the convention, and Scary Monsters and Super Creeps, the best of horror film and TV. This is what I love. Bill Evenson, our good friend Bill Evenson, who hosts the Frankenstein Minute podcast, is moderating this. I love it when Doctor Who guests, who are also known for other things, get to have outlets to talk about those other things.
Yeah, Rachel Talalay worked on every single Freddy Krueger film in one capacity or another, directing the last one. So, and being like PA on the first one, I think, and then her role rising each time. So if anybody knows horror, it's her. Yeah,
so that's pretty cool. Rachel Talalay will be in Edmonton, for crying out loud, on March 8th. Double feature at Metro Cinema here in Edmonton, talking about the Nightmare on Elm Street 5 and Tank Girl, which she also directed. Yeah. Double feature, so that's kind of cool. So, what'd you say at 1 there, Warren? What do you want?
12:30. 12:30.
What's at 12:30? What's at 12:30, Chris?
Blake 7.
The Blake memories of Blake 7.
I have 4 days to watch it all.
We've got a few Blake 7 guests, and Ken Deep, massive Blake 7 fan, is hosting the panel, so that should be a good time.
That's right. Jan Chappell, Brian Croucher, who was in Doctor Who, of course, in The Robots of Death, and then Sally Nivette, also famous for Jenna Stannis. So yeah, that's kind of cool. They'll feature later on in the weekend, as we'll get to. But all right, 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is several different things that we have to talk about. Warren, what did you want to mention?
I want to go to In the House of Mouse, which has friend of the show, Jason Snell. Other friend, I don't know, he's a friend of me. I don't know if he's a friend of the show, Dan Peck. Both those guys know a fair bit about television.
So no, I don't like Dan Peck. So no, he's not a friend of the show.
So much. And then a few other people who I'm not familiar with, but I'm sure know their stuff too. But it's all about now that Doctor Who, and presumably Star Wars and Marvel and that stuff will get tossed around too, are in Disney's corral. Now, what happens then? So that'll be interesting.
If you care, if you care a lot about the Disney Plus impact, I'm going to shout out also my friend Jason, because he is a longtime podcaster and journalist. He co-hosts a podcast called Downstream, which is about the streaming industry. So he is, if you are curious about the impact of Disney Plus on Doctor Who and all that stuff, having him on that panel is just gold. So I really recommend it if you go there. I'm suggesting that you skip my panel if you're super into that topic, but I kind of like you to come to my top panel if you're not.
What's your panel, Chip? Happening at the exact same time.
Imagine that I'm doing a podcasting panel.
Wow! What?
Imagine.
Who's into podcasting? Very good. Who's into podcasting? Come on.
Exactly. So Deb Stanish from Verity is going to be there. Aaron Amos from It's a Fandom Thing, and Jason Miller from Trap One and Doctor Who Literature, and hopefully some other podcasters out in the audience whose experience that we can tap. If you're pod curious, if you want to learn more about it, we'll probably talk a little bit more about other stuff besides podcasting. There are a lot of people who are doing stuff with TikTok and YouTube and things like that is podcasting adjacent. I'd be curious to talk to some of the people out there who are doing both, but so it's not just going to be about people pulling audio off of RSS feeds, but if you're interested if you're a podcast listener or when you said podcaster, come to the panel.
Well, I'm so torn, Chip, because that's in Program D. House of Mouse is in Program B.
Just keep running back and forth.
Sure, it's easy. It's easy to do that.
Just down the hall from each other.
Yeah, there is a map on the convention website. Programmed, it is not. I was hoping it'd be right next door. It's not. I just sort of be near the wall of one and watch the other or something like that. But because all the events are happening on the ground floor this year. That's too bad. I wish you luck, Chip. Maybe I'll dip into one and dip into the other. Maybe I'll have to,
I really, really wish I could be in two places at once, because I wanted to attend the House of the Mouse panel.
Yeah. Well, I could give you some edited. Jason could give you some edited highlights, perhaps. Who knows? Maybe he'll record the thing in his Vision Pro for later use. and you can
So we
watch
need a
it.
3D
That is
version
the
of an
most
audience.
obvious way possible to get thrown out by Sean Lyon.
And
I mean, for
justifiably.
personal use, just to look, here's what it looked like from my angle, and you'd see like the
Well,
various.
you could take a
spreadsheets
photo
in
with
front.
the thing, right? Or his
That's
phone
true.
for that matter. So
yeah, you could just also it works with just like there you go. I took a picture on the phone without having to strap the goggles on your face. But anyway, so 1 o'clock. What a time! What a time for 1 o'clock. 1:15, which is Ray Holman. This we talked about like when creatives come to Gallifrey One. Whenever a costume designer shows up at Gallifrey One, it always ups everyone's cosplay game, which I love. Ray Holman designed for parts of designed Jodie Whittaker's outfit and Matt Smith's first season as well, along with Peter Capaldi's second Series 9 he did. So Amanda Ray Prescott, who is like the perfect person to talk
absolutely,
to
yeah.
somewhat about costumes.
Yeah.
Will
and
be
period
talking to
anything
Ray
she
Holman.
knows everything about.
Yeah. So that is happening at 1:15. That's on the main stage. So just to give you yet another thing to miss, you're going to have to make a choice. A great costume discussion, Disney Plus and or podcasting, all happening at the same time. Sorry, everyone who wanted to see all three.
Get used to conflicts, scheduling conflicts.
Yeah.
That's
You
true.
won't see half the stuff you want to, but you will run into things surreptitiously that you didn't know you liked. So yeah, it all works out.
Because for especially for the first timers, our first time was there's a lot of ink used in circling panels we wanted to see.
Yeah, and then you don't.
if we got to even a third of them, I'd be surprised.
But always for a good reason.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. Sir Derek Jacobi occupies the main stage at 2 o'clock. David Bickerstaff is interviewing him about 1 whole hour for his career.
I
his
Claudius
whole
questions
career.
only. I've demanded
Only
this.
I Claudius. That's it.
and Vicious. Only that. No Doctor Who questions.
And also the BBC Shakespeare stuff. Basically, anything that has been videotaped. If it happened on film, it's out. Can't talk about it.
Who made up this rule? This idiot in Canada. That's who.
If it was me interviewing, it was so. What is your experience working on videotape, specifically 2-inch videotape?
And he's just looking at you like, what the hell is your problem?
I think the first thing I ever saw Derek Jacobi in, and I thought he was phenomenal, and it was Dead Again.
He is
That's
great.
what
in
Eric-
that,
Kenneth,
yes.
Kenneth
That's what
Branagh,
Erica saw him in.
Emma Thompson.
I think I saw him in Henry V introducing it and then ending it, and I was like, "What the hell's going on?" I was very confused.
Yeah, Erica saw Dead Again, and that's why he's her favorite actor.
I'll watch that again. I
Because it's
remember
Dead
it being
Again.
really good.
It's a great movie. Great.
That was a great movie. I don't remember it very well, but he's in it. Derek Jacobi's in it. Anything else? Anything else happening at 2 o'clock you want to mention? Before we move on?
I've got a 2:30. Oh, sorry, nope. Sorry, that's later on. Never mind. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I do want to shout out. There is one panel here that just shows again the growth and inclusivity of Galley, the cosplay for the marginalized body panel. Again, just the convention is becoming much more inclusive, and I'm glad to see folks leading conversations about this.
There's and kind of in tandem with that, we're not doing a meetup this year, but there are a number of meetups. So on the screen right now we see Ribbon Exchange meetup, for example, but there's meetups for LGBTQ plus or POC, or I think there's a goth one even.
Podcasters one too. in case
Podcaster
you're
one.
wondering, some other, yeah.
Cosplay ones for people who are cosplaying. I think Shooty and Millie. But yeah, there's just lots of stuff like that where there's you probably find something you like.
That's true. 3 o'clock. You'll have already seen him on the Radio Free Skaro live show, but Kevin McNally has a one-on-one with Ken Deep. Just so you know, there will be in our live show. We will be able to talk about the Twin Dilemma on its 40th anniversary.
Not able to. You insist upon it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it was a requirement for having Kevin McNally on
you
there.
cannot have Kevin McNally on the show and not talk about the Twin Dilemma. So
Very easily can, but we're not going to.
it's going to happen on RFS. I guarantee you.
I love how we have this live show and we just cater to our stupid little whims all the time.
Why not? Everyone, I don't care about you, Station
what
I'm not
else are we gonna
complaining.
have the
I'm not
chance?
complaining. I think
don't-
it's hilarious, but
I don't care about you. I don't care about Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't care that you were in I, Claudius as well. I want to hear about the twin dilemma.
When else is Stephen going to have 4 actors on stage together that have all been in Midsummer Murders?
That's also going to come
anytime
up.
Brits are on, basically.
Yep, absolutely.
That's
all
probably
4
a valid
Midsummer
answer.
Murders. You will hear all about their experiences on Midsummer Murders at some point, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, just tying back to the live show again. Desert Island Who, this is cool. Segan Akolo, of course, is on our live show as well. But he's basically like featuring audio clips selected by the artist. I think it's probably stuff that he does. He's on another all equally interesting panel later on in the weekend as well that we'll get to. But whenever musicians show up on Doctor Who, it's great. I remember Murray Gold had basically a concert of playing stuff, and Dominic Lind, as we'll see later on, also has is literally a concert. He's putting on his survival
remixes. Yeah.
So it's cool when musicians turn up and do things for.
Yeah, and Remy, who is hosting that panel, is one of the stalwarts on the music panel every year as well. The general music panel.
Yeah. I didn't see Paul Cornell's name attached to the Doctor Who death match 60 for 60 this time round, and I don't know if he's doing it.
He is not, moderated by Jason Miller.
Wow, interesting.
This is one of the ones I find, like when I'm in the audience for it, I find it incredibly stressful. I do nothing but sit there, but I find it really stressful for some reason. I don't know why.
Your favorite is about to get voted down, you
That's
know?
probably what it is, yeah.
Absolutely. I remember, and rightly so, when Paul Cornell basically rigged it so that Terrence Dicks won the greatest Doctor Who writer death match that one year, which is fine. I would have done the same.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, whatever.
It was not a fair vote, though.
Nope. John Pertwee won favorite Doctor one year as well.
They did too. Controversial.
That seems unlikely in like you said, a lot of young people.
Yeah. Well. 3:45 though.
Yes.
Matthew Waterhouse, Adric, being interviewed perhaps by his greatest fan, Kat. For very.
Yeah, she is nervous and excited all at the same time.
I am very curious to see how that plays out. That's in what program B is it?
C.
C rather. There it is.
So yeah, I was. Waterhouse has another interview in program A on Saturday, hosted by Stephen Warren Hill. But C is going to be a much more intimate space, which I don't know if that makes it easier or harder, to be honest.
That's not the one on the main floor, is it?
No,
that doesn't exist anymore. That used to be B,
okay,
but now
right,
C is so far hallway second up on the left.
That can work well. Like when I interviewed, name escapes me, Ohila.
You always forget Claire Higgins.
I don't know why I forget, but it was great. Yeah. It was like that. It was in that B space, but it was maybe I don't know 20 people. But we got into great discussions about what she'd done in Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2 and the show itself, and it was just a lot of back and forth, and it turned out great for that very reason. So yeah.
Well, that'll be fun. Adric at long last. Did Kat lobby for that? Did she say, I have to be the one to interview Matthew Waterhouse, given that she is a legitimate Adric fan and not just a contrarian? Because
last I saw, I think she said there were 46 people who marked interest in that. Now it's at 99 people, so that's good. I don't know if there.
Here's what she has to do.
I don't know how many that room holds.
She has to give him at the end a badge for mathematical excellence. Here you go.
I'm sure that Waterhouse has a closet full of homemade.
I don't make the rules that I just created out of whole cloth.
Sure.
She's done lots of interviews over recent years and was asked, as a lot of interviews are, they're asked, do you want to put your name forward for whomever? And so she put her name forward for Waterhouse, and she's also doing another one on Saturday with Brian Herring. Puppeteer, so yeah, she put her name forward for that and got it.
Nice, very nice. 4:00. Speaking of people who've during the first interview, Kat's done interviews before, but our good friend Heather Berberet is interviewing Jacqueline King and Camille Couturi. Mother's Day is the name of this panel, where it's the two Doctor Who mums essentially on stage together at last, with Heather interviewing them.
Also a mum.
Yeah,
also a mum
too.
So that's cool. I look forward to checking that out because I like Heather and I want to see her on stage because she's going to do great. And then at 4:30, remember Billy Piper? She's going to be at this convention. Kat and Paula from the Gallifrey Gals, a YouTube channel, which way more views than we have on our YouTube channel, are going to be interviewing Billy Piper on stage for her solo. She's only there for the Friday and the Saturday. She'll be on another panel on Saturday, which we'll get to. But the one and only solo interview will be with Kat and Paula on 4:30. So speaking of diversity, it's just nice to see some new faces on stage doing a lot of there's a lot of different people doing a lot of interviews. No one really has 2 or 3 or 4 of them at once. They're all really nicely spread around this year, which is kind of nice. I like that. So that's happening at 4:30. Anything else? Anything jumping out? Yeah. Chip or Chris or anything else as we scroll on through a little bit, because I got stuff at 5:30 that I want to talk about. But
let's go.
I've got 4:30 for the podcasters meet.
Is that where the podcasters meet up? There it is. There it is right there.
So again, opposite Billy Piper.
Yeah.
And then obviously opposite Fraser Hines as well. Sorry, Fraser.
Yeah.
What if he just showed up at the podcasters meetup?
Yeah, maybe he could.
He just kind of moved over.
I went to the podcaster meetup last year, and I think the year in 2020. Maybe it's a fun enough little time. Lots of podcasters, obviously.
Yeah, because that's where they meet up. That's what it's about.
At the podcaster meetup.
I like the review. A pleasant night out, Chris Burgess.
Yeah, they'll be there discussing what went on at the Scandalous Podcasters panel at 1 o'clock earlier that day.
I apologize in advance.
How Chip nailed it.
Chip will be there defending.
Chip, you've been pre-canceled.
Yeah, his written apology will be read out at that time. 5:30. There's once again there's a bunch of stuff. Kevin John Davies is doing a thing on Douglas Adams, which is we'll ask him. You won't have to worry about that. Don't go to the Target thing either. You don't want to go to Paul Cornell is once again on a panel opposite one of mine. So don't go to his. No one wants to hear about Target books anymore. They do. No, instead, you should all come out to the live commentary of the Star Beast, which I'm moderating.
I thought you were going to say the Star Lost for a second, which I would totally go to.
That's next year.
With Rachel Talalay, Jacqueline King, and Brian Herring. Brian Herring, of course, the puppeteer who did the Star Beast for a good chunk of that. So that's all happening. I love live commentaries. I did the Power of the Doctor one last year with Chris Chibnall, Jamie Magnus-Stone, et al. It was a blast. There were a lot of people there too, which made me happy. I didn't think there was going to be as many people as there were, which is why I told everyone to not go to the Paul Cornell one, and then everyone turned up at the commentary anyway. So it's going to be good.
I will be at the edge of my seat for how you and Rachel handle the opening shot of the Star Beast.
It'll come up.
I'm thinking about do we talk about it before it even happens, because it happens relatively good, 90 seconds. Of course, the opening that.
Are you just gonna be running it off of Disney Plus?
Yes, we'll just be. I got to log it. No, it's a pre.
But it does have that preamble thing on it. Okay.
It has a preamble. Yeah, it's on both versions.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the BBC version. I think we'll be watching the BBC version for what it's worth, but it's both on there though. So yeah, that'll be fun. Love the live commentaries. One of my favorite things to do now. So I'm glad to have done a couple of them now. And there you go. And then we're into evening guest receptions, and the masquerade is happening at 7:30.
Don't overlook 6:30 p.m. the fan video happy hour.
Absolutely.
Oh, what's happening at the fan video happy hour, Warren? What's happening there?
Okay, first of all, not to pimp myself, although I will in a bit.
But you are.
It's always a raucous good time. Kim and Sage always have a really good time playing a ton of fan videos. And if you want feels, if you want funny, if you want sad, you want the whole gamut, it's all there. And not just Doctor Who. Oh, there's a lot of Doctor Who. This year, mine is non-Doctor Who. And I'm not going to give away what it is. But I did say to friend of the show, Riley Silverman, I said to her, because it's one of her fandoms, which doesn't really narrow it down because she has a few. I said, it is both filthy as bleep and funny as bleep. so please go see my... And all the many others. They're great. I'd like to give a call out to somebody called Margarita Life, who puts out fan videos all the time, is in the Ukraine. And I think, not Wild Blue Yonder, why is my brain useless? Why do I have Bidenitis? The last one.
The giggle.
Thank you. The giggle. 3 hours after that, they came out with a amazing video, and I messaged Kim and said, it takes me months to make this, and then Margarita Left just throws one out in the Ukraine after 3 hours. What the hell is wrong with me?
Is yours our flag?
What the hell? No, it's not.
No, he's not going to say. I'm not. He says
Well,
he's not going to say.
I wouldn't tell you, but it is.
I'm just trying to think of
Try and
crossover
wheedle.
fandoms.
No. It's something else.
There are many different fandoms, Chris.
Yes.
There are the Starlost and Lake
Yes, I made a
Seven and
Starlost fan video. If you want to kill the vibe in that room pretty quick,
Yeah.
the Starlost is the way to do it.
Yeah, that's it runs a while. It's from 6:30 to 8:15 is when.
Yeah, they got a little bit extra time because they're stuffed full of videos. There will be something for everyone in it, and it's and everybody. It's pretty raucous in there. We all start laughing and yelling and having a good time. So it's good. It's good. Good times.
You should be able to watch the entirety of the Star Beast commentary and then get over to fan video.
And also, if you have to miss
Just so
it,
you know.
the playlist comes out right afterwards, right?
Oh,
So,
perfect.
Yeah.
You're right, on YouTube.
So people watch it at home and comment and message you because they're like watching in real time, right?
Right. Well, cool.
8:30.
all right.
8:30. I'll call it. You mentioned it earlier, but Dominic Lynn's survival remixes.
There it is, live on the main stage. I think I poked my head into one, his previous one when he was at Gallifrey One, which I can't remember which one it was.
Gallifrey remixes.
Gallifrey remixes, yeah. That's always good. So I poked my head because, it's Friday night. It's kind of the party time. There's Tom Dickinson, our friend Tom Dickinson is moderating the Doctor Who Confession Dial After Dark again. That's happening at the exact same time.
That's another raucous good time.
Yep. Cornell Collective happening at 9:30.
Continuing the raucous theme.
Continuing the raucous theme. At the exact same time as the Daleks in Color. If you didn't watch Daleks in Color, and of course none of us in North America did, because we don't have access to it.
No, why would I do that? That'd be wrong.
Yeah, there is a screening of that happening right after the Dominic Lynn Survival Remixer show, whenever that ends. 9:30 on the schedule, might go longer. So that's happening there too. If you want to watch, it's like an old-timey viewing rooms at conventions, except it's on the main stage. And it's something potentially you've never seen because it was only on BBC One right now. So that's happening there. So there. That was Friday. That was Friday at Gallifrey One. 1 hour in. We were 1 day in.
Masterpiece of efficiency.
So everything's unfolding as it should.
Listen, everyone's just waiting in the airport lounge, waiting to take off, just listening to this right now. So that's all fine. Saturday morning, what's happening Saturday? 10 a.m. Revisiting
very tempted to go to this. Yes.
Janet Chappell, Brian Crouch were both in that. Kevin John Davies directed
Shakedown.
it. Shakedown's the Return of the Sontarans, the spin-off that happened, 1994, 95?
4 or 5, somewhere in there.
Talking about that with Jason Hay-Ellery, who was also the producer of it way back when. I've never seen Downtime. I've never seen Shakedown. I've never seen Downtime. I've never seen Time Down. I've never seen Time Shake.
I've seen the Arizona Solution because it was on Amazon briefly.
Shakedown was also novelized as a new adventure back in the day as well.
Oh, it was too. It's
as somebody who interviewed somebody who wrote 3 volumes about fan videos, I kind of feel like I should. I have duty bound to see this.
I'm kind of intrigued by that. Yeah.
I didn't realize Jason had produced it back in the day.
I'm not surprised.
Or is it just the fact he is a producer?
Well, part of it is that Big Finish kind of shifted into audio because it was a lot easier. But at first, they kind of dabbled in this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm really glossing over a bunch of details, but yeah.
Yeah, no, and I'm pretty sure he was probably a producer of this. So, back in the early days, in the pre-Big Finish days, Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anything else jump out at you at 10 a.m. early days here, but or slightly further on?
Produced by Mark Ayres and Kevin John Davies, not Jason Hay-Ellery.
Oh, okay. Anything jumping out? There's Matthew Waterhouse again at.
What is the Guiding Light about? It's an intriguing title.
The Guiding Light. It's
about faith.
Soap opera.
No, it's about
soap opera.
About faith and religion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In Doctor Who. So that's happening at 10:45. Paul Cornell's, who of course is always all over many different panels at the convention, is on that one as well. Yep. As we scroll on into Saturday, which is clearly not as interesting as Friday was because
I very much doubt that.
None of us are doing panels on it, but we'll do it. I love that there's a River Song cosplayers meetup because, of course, Alex Kingston is at the convention, and many people choose many different outfits of Alex Kingston / River Song and Doctor Who. So I imagine there are going to be quite a few, perhaps in an effort to wrangle Ms. Kingston into a group photo, as is often the case whenever someone shows up and 80 different people are dressed like them. That's probably what's going to happen. So
there was a very joyous Jodie one that happened like that too, as I recall, when she was a guest.
Which Jodie joined, did she not?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
You couldn't get away from doing that, but Yeah. Anything else? Anything else jumping out as I slowly scroll in through the morning of Saturday when we're in the line for Starbucks?
I'll throw out the 11:30 Brian Herring interview with Kat.
There it is.
Which is where is that one? That is
that
program,
one is on
that's
program
on the main stage.
A.
Yeah, that's on the main stage.
Brian Herring. Of course, he did BB-8 too. Did a lot of stuff for
I did not know that.
She was telling me last night about with the research she's been doing about some of his past working for.
But was he fan favorite DO?
Working for I think Henson and Spitting Image. And he's got some cred.
New Spitting Image or old Spitting Image or both?
Probably new, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah, has the ability to roll himself up into a tiny little ball to fit inside a carry-on. That's why he was in BB-8. It was amazing. It's
he was inside BB-8. Yes,
he was actually inside BB-8.
Rolling, and then that translates into the rolling emotion of the ball.
Not just a puppeteer; he's a contortionist.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Also involved in the casino heist in the original Ocean's 11. He was not.
I've still, just to be fair, just a shout out to BB-8. When they rolled that thing out in 2015 or 2014,
oh my God.
And it was an actual physical thing that was doing what it was doing, I'm like, how? I still don't understand how that works, but it's kind of crazy that it does.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was so excited by Force. I still love Force Awakens because this amazing ball droid.
I'll just stop talking is what I'll do.
I know. We're at 12 noon here. There's a whole bunch of other panels and stuff like that. None of us will talk about apparently, but I tell you what, TARDIS Talks actually starts off, 2 or 3 hours is TARDIS Talks. Gallifrey One 2024 Academic Symposium goes from 12 to 1. So that's just 12 to 1? We can't do it for...
Nope, it's 12 to 1 and then 1 to 2.
Okay.
Organized by friends of the show and friends, Paul Booth and Joy Piedmont. Mm-hmm. I'm still very cross with Joy for having a life and not being able to make it to the convention this year.
Come on, Joy.
But the TARDIS Talks, it's not dry academia, but it is, serious presentations about people who have studied and thought hard about Doctor Who, and it's a really good way to spend a couple of hours.
Yeah. It is. I poked my head into that a few times over the course of the years too, and it's neat. Yeah, it's just neat. just interesting topics and like short lectures. It's not like a whole panel or something like that. It's not really a discussion panel. It's like a presentation, and I think it's a really neat thing that's been going on a few years now. And one of the great initiatives of Gallifrey One is putting these things on. So well done, Paul and Joy, for bringing this to the table and keeping it going, even when Joy's not there, even when she's welching on her responsibilities by, as you say, Chip, having a real life and not dedicating it all to Doctor Who. What is wrong with you, Joy? Embarrassing.
Absolutely nothing, I believe, is the answer.
Yeah, that's true. 12:45. Once again, our friend Heather Berberet is talking to Rachel Talalay on the main stage about her entire career in Doctor Who and elsewhere. That's gonna be a good one as well. That's on program A, as I said, from 12:45 to 1:30. So I want to check that one out.
And then right after that at 1:30, I think you're doing something, Stephen.
I sure am. I am interviewing one Jacqueline King, who I have just done a commentary with the night before. Jacqueline King, of course, famous for Sylvia Noble. Interviewing her just a half an hour, short, tight and bright panel on program A with Jacqueline King, who I'm told is a lovely person. That comes from Rachel Talalay herself. So favorite person, quote unquote.
Oh, so good.
So that's gonna be fun. So I look forward to talking to her. That ends my on stage duties for the course of this entire convention.
And then you're going to get roaringly drunk on 3 beers.
3 beers, please. I'm a vodka man now. But
we don't often talk about like the photo shoots and whatnot, but 145 there, Warren. I think that looks like a prime one for you. Derek Jacobi and Eric Roberts.
Oh, to be a sandwich in that photo.
2 masters. Listen, I don't know if Derek Jacobi has ever had an Academy Award nomination, but Eric Roberts has. So Roberts has that over Jacobi.
This diplomatically. That don't seem fair.
Oh, well, I'm just saying. It's all about opportunity.
Yeah, but I bet Jacobi's got 8,000 BAFTAs. So
who BAFTAs? They let old Doctor Who's host BAFTA award ceremonies. What's even the prestige of that?
And by old, do you mean David Tennant?
He's in his 50s, dude. So
he's in his 50s.
That's young. It sure is. That's really young.
Thank you, Warren.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else? We're into 2 o'clock now on the
I have one at
Saturday.
2 o'clock, yes.
All right. What do you got? What do you got at 2 there,
The
Warren?
Big Crunch with Shauna Benson, Julie Benton, Gillian Horvath,
Right.
and Dan Peck, all TV writers. And it's all about basically how it's peak TV and how it is not peak TV anymore. It is the Big Crunch and how is that all falling out. I am fascinated with, I dislike raw business on principle, but I am fascinated with the raw business of Hollywood, which I have no involvement in, to the point where, just to peek behind the curtain, people, Stephen and I are both fascinated in this. So we just send back and forth links to articles, and we just preface it with Weasel News, confirming your prejudices from Grand Theft Auto. Because it's always us going, you see, we were right about this. And it's always this kind of thing about how, oh, this thing's been canceled, that thing's been canceled, this terrible decision has been made. Here's how Hollywood is stupid again. So I just find it interesting that people on the inside explaining what the deal is.
Yeah.
I have just clicked the check mark for that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This will be kind of maybe semi-related to the panel that you're going to miss about Disney Plus, perhaps, like sort of in that wheelhouse, Chip, perhaps, and that kind of, just the presentation of media as opposed to the appreciation of media, that sort of being the main thrust of this sort of thing. Yeah.
And this Worlds That Might Have Been looks pretty fascinating. And David Gerald is a great listen. He's always interesting. And he wrote Trouble with Tribbles and Bugs Thunder.
Just don't ask him about the war against the Chitauri series.
I won't.
Okay.
That's his novel series that George R.R. Martin did it.
Oh.
Did it? Well, I don't know. Okay, he's not listening to this, presumably, so tell me what the deal is here.
Yeah, it's just he stopped writing them, and then the series is not completed.
Gotcha.
Oh,
okay.
I see what you mean.
Oh, I see what you're saying. All right. Okay, gotcha.
I thought you meant.
No,
George
I would
R.
never.
Martin.
I would never harass him about that.
Okay,
But we've interviewed him at Worldcon, and he's a very interesting guy. So
yeah, he is pretty interesting. So, right. There's a photo studio session with Matthew Waterhouse at 3. I assume Kat has probably had her fill of Matthew Waterhouse at that point.
I
that's enough, Matthew.
I don't believe she has any plans to do a photo op with him, but I could be wrong. I haven't asked.
Right. There is at 3 o'clock Legacy of Douglas Adams as that's gonna be a thing. Kevin John Davies, of course, as I mentioned before, lifelong friend of him, has a book about Douglas Adams, 42, moderated by Stacey Smith, though. James Goss, Simon Garriott, Gareth Kavanagh, all in there. That's going to be interesting because, of course, Douglas Adams wrote for Doctor Who. Don't know if anybody heard about that.
Is that 42 book out yet, or is it coming out at Gallifrey?
Oh, that's out. It's been out. Okay. Yeah, it's been out.
That sounds fascinating.
I bought it and haven't looked at it yet, but I bought it.
That's shocking. What behavior? What a aberrant behavior on your part.
Well, I bought it though. At least I bought it, Warren.
Well, you do that, a lot of that, and then you have a pile of books you haven't read. Well, not like me with shelves of books I haven't read. So
I know.
Talk.
I try to support the artist as much as I can. But
however, I suppose, Stephen, you won't be at the Douglas Adams one. You'll be at the Sci-Fi Television Year in Review, talking smack about Star Trek Prodigy or something.
There's already a State of Star Trek one beforehand, which we skipped over.
I don't need to go to that one. I don't need to know about the state of Star Trek.
Stephen has, to the best of my knowledge, never watched Star Trek Prodigy. Not that it would stop you from saying
No, I never watched it. No, that's right. I got Paramount.
Actually.
I got Paramount Plus. I'll get.
You still don't have Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, right.
I've only seen the first season. It was okay. It was not bad.
I stand largely in defense of the franchise.
I know.
I like most of the shows that are coming on right now.
I stand with you, Chip.
Yeah.
Strange New Worlds is fine. Discovery I got bored with, but that's just me. So whatever.
They got one more kick at the cat. Does Discovery?
Yeah, they're going to go another 900 years in the future.
See if it ends with
into Star Wars somehow.
That's true, and yet somehow incorporate Star Trek: The Next Generation. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Music, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock music panel. Yep.
Couple of things. Yeah, Music of the Spheres with Kier Hansen, Jess Jurkovic, and just talking about music. I love that Jess Jurkovic has very quickly become involved in the panels and entertainment when it comes to music at Gallifrey One. I think he's on another panel coming up later on too. I thought this was the one, but it's not. But he's going to be there. He's of course famous for the Dudley Simpson, his Doctor Who YouTube page and stuff where he transcribes Dudley Simpson Doctor Who music into piano. He's a fascinating chap as well. So
at the same time,
yes, go on, Chip.
At the same time, on the main stage, Riley Silverman interviewing Alex Kingston.
Yep,
that's gonna be fun. Alex Kingston is great. I've interviewed Alex Kingston twice,
And Riley's
as a matter
pretty
of
great
fact.
too. Let's not.
Yeah, oh yeah, she's great. Yeah, and she is just Alex Kingston is it's just very much like a free spirit. I get a very warm and happy vibe from her. Just I remember like just you sort of like get an impression of people like backstage and stuff right before you're about to go on. I remember that at Edmonton Expo where I interviewed her the first or second time. I can't remember which one it was, and she was just like. She had an idea for like a giveaway to give something out. She just thinking that she's just I don't know, just happy and warm, just free and easy. I just like she's a classy dame.
You're
is
absolutely
Alex
right.
Kingston.
I remember one of our live shows. I can't remember her name because I'm terrible with names, but she played the tree in End of the World.
Yasmin Bannerman.
Yes, and she shows up and she's just the nicest person in the world.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, this is gonna go great.
My favorite anecdote about that Edmonton Expo appearance, Stephen, was how you were you were marked to do the interview with her, and nobody from Expo told you.
Was that really? Is that how it
that was
happened?
the one? Yeah, because I was going through the program and I'm like, oh, you're interviewing Alex Kingston, and you're like, am I?
Good.
Because nobody told you.
Was it happening that day? Did I find out that
I think
day
it
or
was the day before, possibly
Day
2
before.
days before. Yeah,
Yeah, I still did it though.
you still did.
Yes.
You did a bang up job for sure.
Oh, thank you. Well, because I only think and talk about Doctor Who, so it's easy.
Makes
And
it
hockey.
easier.
And hockey and Doctor
me
Who
too.
together. Sorry.
A kind of related question for 5 o'clock. Have you hired a young person yet to let you into the Lego and coloring time program?
A mule, if you will.
Listen, I don't like playing with other people when it comes to Lego.
I just don't like other people, so that worked out great.
Yeah, I don't.
Does not play
kids
well
don't
with
appreciate
others.
Lego. Whenever I see a yeah,
Kids
I really
don't appreciate Lego.
I'll just
Not
like-
like you do. You
I'll just-
gatekeeping Lego. Great. Wonderful.
Looking through there and going, what do you kid? What is this? You don't even know it. Like, look at you. You don't even know how lucky you have
I just
it,
remember you
idiot.
presumably exaggerating, going, I'm going to
Free
Lego
Lego.
store and I'm pushing children out of the way so I can get to the bits and pieces bin,
Yeah,
which is
like
probably a name for it.
you're playing it wrong. You're building that minifig wrong, you idiot. Not
You're
what
going
they're
to turn
supposed
into
to
a
look
terrible
like.
adult, not like me.
Yeah, so I will be going to that. Actually, I will be going to berate the children about how they're not.
as is your wants, yes.
That is the other great way to get thrown out.
One of several that he's going to discover one at a time.
Yeah.
I like that you're the bad boy in all this.
Yeah.
However, that does go opposite Kim and Sage doing the Tyler family album
Oh my
Which
God!
is, yeah,
So-
that's going to
interview
be great.
panel.
So it's basically kind of like this or that. The sequel, of course, it's this or that. Is Kim and Sage have been putting this on for a while there, usually with two guests, and they ask them this or that. Harrison Ford or Mark
Always
Hamill, or
hilarious.
something like this.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's not usually in Doctor Who. It's sometimes outside of Doctor Who. This time there's three people. The entire family Tyler are there. Camille Couture, Sean Dingwall, and Billy Piper. That is going to be riotous and raucous.
So I'm gonna interject here for a second. I don't think it's entirely that. I think it's a straight up interview.
It is a straight up interview, but there is that
They'll make it fun.
They will
element of
absolutely make it
chaos,
fun.
that element of fun and chaos. They did a great job with Joe Martin. What 2021? I
don't remember.
When was that? Now it wasn't.
Well, it wouldn't
Well,
be
it was
2019.
in
'cause she didn't show
2021.
up.
It was
So-
22. It was 22 then,
22.
obviously. Yeah, it was 2022 that Joe Martin was there. So, and they did a great job on that too. And there was just a brilliant rapport between audience and them and Joe and them, and it was great. So, it's going to be fun. It's going to be an absolute blast. So that's going to be, they'll work in their head over feels feels to it. It'll be tons of fun. So that's at 5 o'clock. Thankfully, towards the end of the big day.
Well, I'll throw a plug out there for the game of Rassilon at 6 o'clock.
I will too.
With other friends of the show doing that as ever.
And
What's a game of Rassilon? Explain for those that don't know.
Or I could, because I've actually
Oh yes,
involved in it.
please.
Yeah.
So it's playing the Doctor Who role playing. I don't play it. I've edited their 5th season.
Right.
And so it's playing the Doctor Who role playing game, but more or less as an audio play, essentially, right? And so that's what they'll be doing. And they do a live version of that at this. I got a recording that they couldn't put it out because I was like, there's only so much I could do in Adobe for this. But this time I'm bringing down my recorder and hopefully, so if it screws up and we don't get it, it's my fault. so I'm going to try and
record.
record
No pressure, no
with
pressure.
my
Right.
little Tascam, which has been blessed, and by blessed I mean said, "What the hell is this?" by Carl Bernstein. So hopefully the Carl Bernstein vibes will help. I will never not mention that.
What the hell is this? Said Carl Bernstein.
He did.
Wow.
He's like, what is this thing? I was recording him for work. So
wow. Jeez. And he took down Nixon. So
yes, he did. And he might take down Jason Nixon or Michael Nixon. Pardon me.
Sure.
Jason Nixon is a minister, isn't he, in Alberta?
Yeah. That's
I hope he takes him down too, for the hell of it.
Yeah. And then we're into the evening program. I think the Idiot's Lantern, the big sketch comedy show, is happening at 8 o'clock on the main stage, followed by Saturday night karaoke.
That's the popular karaoke, yeah.
And of course the Bi Generation dance party, the dance party. I haven't been to the dance party, I don't think, in a while.
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think I went last time.
Yeah.
I do lament the loss this year of the pub quiz.
Was there a pub quiz last year? I missed that.
It was I think it was on the Friday last year. But it's been there. It's not been there every year, but it's been there a few times, and I've always had fun at it.
Well, it ain't there this year, Chris. I'm sorry. You're going to have to find fun elsewhere, but we usually do it either in the lobby or rooms or, patios if we're not too loud and get tossed up by hotel security.
Last year at the pub quiz, so you go in teams and you come up with team names, and Jess Jerkovic, who was sitting behind me, his team, in honor of us, was called the Three Who Drool.
That's fair and accurate, frankly.
Right. Yeah, that'll be us in about 10 years, too, by the way.
No, what are you talking about, 10 years?
10 years.
Chip, back me up here.
10 years ago.
Yeah. On to Sunday, which has traditionally sort of been the cool down day, but still, interesting programming and everything like that. There's Gary Russell's interviewing Alex Kingston, for instance, at 10 a.m. A nice way to wake up and just sort of chill on a nice Sunday morning panel with Alex Kingston again. Verity's In Defense of Returns at 11 o'clock.
Four Verities.
With all the four Verities that are going to be there. In Defense of is always a popular thing where, you have you have 1 minute to defend a thing that is possibly controversial to your own opinion, not like actual controversial, Doctor Who controversial,
like outrageous, let's say.
Outrageous,
I have a conflict here, though, because Days of Yore, the BBC of the 70s and 80s, is absolute catnip to me. Like, it's very hard to resist that.
Look at that. Keith Barnfather, Real Time Pictures, talks to Fraser Hines, Matthew Waterhouse, Brian Croucher, Kevin McNally, Kevin John Davies about their experiences working at the BBC.
Oh, my God. I mean, just shoot it in my veins, please.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's going to be a tough one to miss, isn't it? That's on Program A, too. So,
I'm not married to anybody on that panel, so I don't have any conflicts. I have less conflicts, let's put it that way. I'm friends with them all.
That's a good point.
So, we'll have to get you married to Liz, I guess, because Deb's already married.
I think both Liz and I would not be.
Yeah, that's you don't have to pair up people.
Yeah, Liz is fine. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure Liz would say I'm adequate, but neither of us have any interest in that. Thank you and good day.
Mm-hmm. Anything else happening on the Sunday that you want to mention? I feel like I missed the panel with Jess Jerkovic that maybe just hasn't come up yet.
I don't think it has, because I have it in my that's 1 p.m. Yeah, so
is it at 1 p.m.?
So
okay.
yeah, you haven't yet gotten it.
That I'm going to get to, but there are coffee classes, of course, happening all throughout. The signups probably are all full or I think, I don't know how coffee classes works, honestly.
Signups were open on last Saturday, February 3rd. For a period, and then whatever got filled, and any open spots, there'll be a manual sign up at the con.
Oh, good, because those are happening all throughout the convention. Chris, you didn't say you were going to go to any of those this year.
I had a few shortlisted that I fell asleep on the couch and I missed the sign up window.
I laughed, but I mean, it's not like I
it was ever thus.
So I may take my chances based on what availability there is once we get to the hotel.
Now, my question is bow ties are still cool. People who liked classic Tucker Carlson and not the new fascistic Tucker Carlson. Classic Tucker Carlson also sucked. It
actually come master tying.
He just shows up because he's unemployed now. He just shows up when we mention.
It's literally you learn how to tie a bow tie. Anyway, Chip, did you have any? You had a thing
just
after
3 p.m. Deb Stanish, the big main panel conversation. With
we haven't got there yet. It's 3 p.m.
We haven't got there yet. I'm sorry, I'm zipping ahead.
No, it's fine, because I do want to talk at the one that I keep thinking that I missed, but I didn't, is Music to My Ears, where Segan Akinola, Dominic Lynn, George Shaw, David Ricklin, and Jess Durkovic are on there. talking about composing music for films and TV and everything like that. That is awesome. The creative process.
It's on my schedule for sure.
Yep. That is a must see. That's got to be on the main stage. It is at 1 to 2 p.m. So that one, we'll be doing our usual, like our live show will be a podcast, and then we'll put out 2 more over the course of the weekend. None of these things usually happen on Sundays because Sundays are kind of chill and everything. I'm hoping so. I'm hoping to have all our obligations, apart from maybe the wrap up segment at the end, will be done by then, so that I can go to some of these panels, and that is certainly one that I want to see. So
yeah,
so that'd be nice.
Yup.
There's also Amanda Ray Prescott is interviewing Ray Holman on the Friday, but then Ray Holman and Piers Britton are actually putting on like a demonstration with like slides and everything of like of the costumes that Holman has designed in Doctor Who, and that's going to be cool. It's cool. I love visual presentations and stuff like that. Like they've done that for some of the Blu-ray range when they've had like special features and animated sneak peeks of stuff coming up and stuff too. So this is along the lines of that. So that's happening at 2:00 on the main stage. But Chip, you mentioned it. You jumped the gun a little bit, but that's fine. What's happening at 3:00 on the main stage?
Deb Stanish is she is a master at doing the big interviews with tons of folks. So she's going to have Annette Badlin, Jan Chappell, Camille Koduri, Gigi Edgley, Jay Griffiths, Sally Nivette, and Chase Masterson and Rachel Talalay all on the main stage at once. That'll be the last big main stage interview.
That's a good crew.
That's a good crew. Yep. Deb's a great wrangler.
She is immaculate at it.
Yeah, absolutely is. So... Yep, that is the big last event of the entire convention before the closing ceremony is at 5:00.
I would just like to point out when they came out, I don't remember which year this was, but when they said an old friend is not coming back, and they whipped out the old carpet, which I own a piece of, it's in the living room. I believe I yelled out, "You absolute monsters!"
at the closing ceremonies. Yeah. Chris, you're gonna say what do you have there?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Oh, okay, it's all good. So there you go. That is, and then the Sunday happens, and age and stamina and the desire to keep the thing going as long as possible are in constant battle throughout the course of the Sunday evening.
Yes, they are.
I will throw a plug out there though for the year in review. Normally done by Matt Dale.
Oh yeah.
Who sadly passed away around Christmas time. And it's as the name implies, it's a recap of the year, but it's going to be a very a little more somber affair than it has been in the past.
Very true. Very true. That's happening at 4:00. So that'll probably a thing not to miss as well. So right before the closing ceremonies. But so there you go. That is it. That is it for the schedule.
And once again, thanks to Sean for the highlight of our year. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that.
It really is. We kind of just base around, like, whenever we plan our podcast, here's Gala, and then what we do after it and before it, and it's just sort of like absolutely. I always joke, it's the beginning of our financial year, our fiscal year in a way. It just feels like this is I know we're actually recording this Lunar New Year, February 10th. This is the new year when it comes to Gallifrey One. There's this weird January month that they keep trotting out where we don't know what to do. It's just usually us looking forward to
I've been working for the same guys for 13 years, and when I got hired, I said, listen, this weekend is non-negotiable. And they've stuck to that. There's a big conference that I probably should be going to, but I told them, no, get freelancers. There's no way I'm doing it. I can't do it. It's just not going to happen.
Why do you?
And they're cool with it. Like, I'm not criticizing them at all. They've always been really cool with this. So
You've had your share of close calls, though. That year you had to be, in Hawaii?
Yeah, I was at a conference for work in Hawaii, and I flew in on a red eye, and I got an hour's worth of sleep before we, this was 2014, I believe. And and before we went on stage. And then I idiotically agreed to do a VFX panel, which turned out pretty well, all things considered, where I'd gotten an additional 2 hours sleep. And then I think I went to bed like 7 or something. I was just done.
Right. Well, thank you. You won't have to do that this time around. Chip, you won't have to do anything like that. Hopefully, you're not catching it right. Hopefully there won't be a Chip go round.
You'll see.
Long range forecast for the southeast is okay. I trust.
You never know. You never know. Never know. That's it for Gallifrey One, but some other bits of news before we wrap the hell up. As happened as announced on Monday, Michael Jason passed away at the age of 88. Jason, of course, famous for Quiller and only Quiller, BBC series from 1975.
The Quillyard, I believe, is called in Doctor Who.
Yeah, he's of course the Valeyard in Doctor Who. He died at the age of 88 after a short illness. He was in many things. He was in Nicholas and Alexandria with Tom Baker way back when in 1971. So much so that
we were taking Russian in junior high, or Russian history at the time, because it was the Cold War. And I remember we watched part of Nicholas and Alexandria, and I stood up and said, "That's Tom Baker," and nobody had a clue what I was talking about. No. And it just alienated me even further, if that was possible, than I already was.
Yeah.
The thing that struck me was, look at the difference between British publications, the Guardian headline and all this stuff, just about the breadth of the man's career. Yeah. The Radio Times headline: Doctor Who legend Michael Jason.
They know.
And probably all the American stuff and Canadian stuff. Just the same thing. Like
Radio Times knows what gets them the clicks, and it's Doctor Who anything is what it does. So. Yeah, I think I interviewed Michael Jason way back at Chicago TARDIS in the early years, 2012, 2013. I don't think it made it on the podcast.
He'd been to Galley a few times. Kat interviewed him once upon a time as well.
That's right.
That's right. And that's right.
There has never been a negative word said about him or anything that I ever came across. Plus,
there are a couple things on stage that he said recently.
His eyebrow can only go so far.
I'm talking about at Galley specifically.
Okay, at Galley, sure.
He was also quite the chain smoker as well.
He had a gravelly voice, let me tell you.
And he could often be found out in the smoking areas having a puff.
I knew this is where this is going.
There it is.
A fellow smoker praising.
Yeah. Quiller,
we are a dying breed, Warren.
But
Quiller, 1975 series made for the BBC that he himself hated, apparently. But somebody put all the episodes up, and I watched 2 episodes the night that he died after that. It's not as good as the Sandbaggers, but it's interesting nonetheless. So.
What is as good as the Sandbaggers? Nothing. That's what.
Nothing's as good.
Great theme song, though. I got to give you that. The theme song is tremendous.
My God. The theme song for Quiller is a banger. And
funk as
so
hell.
Much so. They use it all throughout. I thought it was just the opening of Clothing Tales. They use that music throughout.
It's kind of the Star Lost does that, too, let's be honest. A little bit. Most 70s things do a little bit of that.
They got their money's worth.
That's a good thing. Here's the thing that was said. They had the BFI event for Horror Fang Rock this past weekend, and at it, Pete McTighe said that the extended Blu-ray collection trailers are going to be rested for a little while.
Boo.
They take a lot of they take a lot of work.
I know.
B,
they never have any budget.
They don't have a budget.
What they pull off with no budget is pretty impressive.
Oh yeah.
But oftentimes, you'll see that it's often featuring someone who was in the show during the course, the season that is being presented. And there are some seasons, sadly, that do not have any, star actors with us anymore to shoot those things. So if you're going to do a season 7 Blu-ray release, you would have,
John Levine.
John Levine would be in it, and
Katie Manning. No, not there. Not there. Sorry, season 7. Yep,
exactly. Katie Manning's already been in one for. I mean, I think we already have all the Katie Manning's.
Yeah, no, she was in the
Green Dead season 10 one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's logistic reasons for that happening as well. So read into that what you will. Maybe they're planning some ones that we don't have the representation of the original cast.
Yeah, I think the article said there's still some stuff in the pipeline, so it's not like they're gonna fully stop immediately or anything. But
sorry, Chris.
But they will be curtailed or rested, as it says.
Yeah.
Just to call out my own hypocrisy here. Like, I'm like, well, it's not real. It's not a real revisiting if it isn't on video. And I'm like, well, yeah, there's Big Finish and there's books and there's all sorts of things that involve these companions. So, I mean, that's silly of me, but it does feel more real.
Yeah, I know, because you're seeing it and stuff.
Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But
I don't know. That Louise Jameson one kicked ass.
Oh, they all do. They're all really good.
Season 15. I also want to point out that I know a few people have told us that on the US BBC shop, the season 20 set, which is still don't have here, has been pushed to June 2nd. In Canada, as of yesterday, when I checked this, it's still April 2nd. Just pointing that out for him. So I don't know. I imagine that it'll eventually get bumped back, but
we're not special,
for now,
as we know.
April 2nd in Canada. Just saying. 3.
Still waiting on that big Blu-ray set.
Yeah. Jeez. 3 Big Finish things to wrap up. This is cool. Doctor Who, the novel adaptations. I haven't done one since the Capaldi era. Goth opera. Paul Cornell book. Adapted by Liz Miles. I know that this has been in the works for a while because I've heard conversations with Liz and Paul for quite some time about this coming to fruition. So it's great that it's finally seen the light of day. That's coming in July of this calendar year. Also, the Fourth Doctor Adventures Metamorphosis with Annette Badland as the voice of the Toy Maker.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Which is amazing. That's going to be really cool. Also features Tom Baker. I just love how Tom Baker can look mystified in any photo, and you think he was shocked by something, but he's Tom Baker, and he's amazing, and I love that man to the end of the earth, and he's great. And then finally, the Worlds of Missy, Bad Influence is also due from Big Finish in May of this calendar year. So there you go. 3 big.
I see that title, and I can't stop thinking of Taylor Swift's song "Bad Blood." Go Chiefs! There you go. There's my sports thing. Mostly because it annoys these guys who hate Taylor Swift for some insane
don't
reason.
Fix bullet holes. So
yeah, there's a Super Bowl happening.
Here's what I love about that. The fact that these guys all hate Taylor Swift, and by extension the Chiefs, means they have to cheer for San Francisco, the gayest city in America. There is no way they can win.
Pick your warrior.
They lose no matter what they do. I mean, they lose just by being who they are. But yeah.
Yeah.
The only way to win is to not play at all.
Exactly. Listen to Whopper of War Games fame.
Well, there we go. That's it. That's it for our very long episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope everyone who's going to Gallifrey One found it interesting and fun and exciting and helpful. And I look forward to seeing you, a whole bunch of you people there. Chip, I look forward to seeing you there.
I will be there with bells on.
With bells on.
You better have some bells on.
Yeah, I will demand some bells for the live show. So
I'm St. John,
but I'll leave the Toronto Maple Leafs jersey at home.
Oh, come on! You gotta wear it.
There's no point. There's no point. The joke has been made. It's great. It was wonderful. Well done, Chip, and all that. Thank you for joining us for this today. So it's great to have you on. All right. Next time you'll hear from us is from the main stage at Gallifrey One, Friday, February 16th. More than 6 years in the TARDIS. That'll be in the podcast feed elsewhere, of course, on that weekend. Until Gallifrey One, everyone.
No video version of that one.
No video version of that one, no. Until Gallifrey One, everyone, I am Stephen in Edmonton.
Warren in Vancouver.
Chris in Edmonton.
And Chip in Durham.
So long for now.